I am starting to think that somebody's coming after the show. My internet don't go down any other time during the day. I do other streams. I just got through doing a show for about a full hour before this show and did not glitch one time. It's only when I do this show. So I think the man is after me. Welcome back, everybody. Jonathan Myers, we are actually live. What's good, Jay? Marcy says you still up. Thank you guys for coming back in, joining me. We getting most of our people back. The Velvet Gentleman, we are back. Hey, Benjamin Dixon Show, we back. That's our moderator. Clarice, my bad. I'm sorry, I put an N in there. Changes the dynamic of the name totally. Hello again. Cheers. So let's get down to business before something else happens with this internet. The last thing that we were talking about before Comcast so rudely interrupted. I'll tell you one thing I am going to do. I am going to purchase like some type of backup to run simultaneously alongside of my internet at home. That way, if it goes down again, I'll have a backup system that's just there to rise seamlessly through. So I'm gonna invest in that next month because I enjoy doing these and I don't want anything to get in the way. So we're back. Last thing we talked about. Oh, Tokyo is in the house. What is good? My good friend in Tokyo. I'm up, Alicia, on YouTube. Cheers. Where's the main streaming platform? I'm actually streaming everywhere simultaneously. I'm streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, as well as Twitter. And if Instagram unblocks me, because Instagram shut me down, because I had a hack making it possible to. Okay, let's get to it. Let me stop. We'll get to all that pleasantry stuff at the end. So the last thing I was talking about was the fact that there's a level of chaos that we have all been living under for the last 4 years. And I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit of PTSD. We have become accustomed to the outright madness of nonstop, intense, dramatic news stories in addition to 2020 and COVID-19. And while I don't think we can't afford to go back to sleep. Like I think some of us were asleep. I think some of us were lulled to sleep by, hey, got me off. I see Vanessa, family friend. I think some of us were lulled to sleep underneath the Obama administration, and we were not actively organizing and fighting the way we should have been fighting. The fact of the matter is that we do need some calmness. There's a time and there's a place for everything. We need a bit of calmness to the extent that we can at least catch our breath. And that's the one thing that, even though I didn't appreciate it last night, quite frankly, I was irritated by the fact that Joe Biden wasn't fighting back against Donald Trump as intensely as I would have liked. Looking back in hindsight, watching the videos today, I appreciated it. Because we can't afford to just get crazier and crazier, wilder and wilder, louder and louder, more bellicose. You know, we can't afford to continue to escalate this. You know, there's got to be a way for us to get, hey, my high school friend, there has to be a way for us to get progress without the madness. Right? We cannot constantly live in a state of all day long hyper sensitive, hyper aware, just nonstop. And maybe it affects me more because I do the news and I cover the news all day, every day. I'm constantly locked in. But I think the madness has trickled down, right? Wealth didn't trickle down, right? Prosperity didn't trickle down. None of that trickled down. You know what trickled down? The madness, the intensity, the nonstop ridiculousness of our news cycle. And that takes a toll on us. And I think that has trickled down all the way down to everyone's everyday life because it's not just political theater. A lot of people like to dismiss what's going on around the world as political theater and it doesn't really affect your life. But this really affects your life, right? The fact that if you're in a red state and your governor didn't give that state the Medicaid expansion, that inflated the cost of Obamacare in your state, which raised your monthly premiums. So that abstract notion of politics being political theater isn't quite accurate, because when it comes down to it, it really affects our everyday life. And I think that's one of the number one things that we make a mistake on is this idea that politics don't really matter. Jesse said that hindsight, Biden was composed, but we were not. Yeah. Because I was amped. I was pushed. I was like, come on, man, get him. I was yelling at the computer. And then when I watched the videos today, Biden looked calm and measured and Donald Trump looked like a clown. And what Donald Trump has been successful at doing over the last couple of years is to get us to respond to his oafishness, his clownicity, his ridiculousness. And we've gotten so accustomed to being on edge, ready to fight, ready to, like, out of necessity. It's not we had to fight. We've had to fight. And to just have a moment where you could actually consider the possibility that we don't have to be on edge all of the time because of the madness of our politics, but we can have kind of the eye of the storm calmness, knowing that we have to fight still. This is not to lull anyone to sleep. Things are not going to be fixed just because Joe Biden wins, if he wins, right? We got to fight like hell to help him win. But even if he wins, things are not going to be fixed. So that doesn't mean to go to brunch and don't do any politics, don't do any organizing. But hopefully it does mean we can go to brunch and organize. Like we can sit in a coffee shop and have some peace as we organize how we make things better. Right now, it's been nonstop chaos. And that's because Donald Trump most assuredly is a chaos agent, without a shadow of a doubt. Another super chat from YouTube. Kimberly says, Australia's conservatives are being affected by Trumpian disease, forcing reopening of states with COVID outbreaks. You know, and this is something that I really, it's the best of times and worst of times, right? I have a level of calmness and peace in my household because we're quarantined. My life before quarantine wasn't exactly the best life. Let's just leave it at that. We were living in Atlanta. Atlanta is quiet as it's kept. It's a party city. And, you know, I would work all day. I would hustle. I never stopped hustling. I would work all day, but then I would go play poker. I would stay out, hit a bar. I would do whatever, you know, just it was nonstop. And I'll go to sleep at 2 a.m. And somewhere in that time, I tried to be a father and a husband. What COVID has done for us has been to say, shut that down entirely and don't do anything but take care of your family and take care of your health. The opposite side of that is the terrifying reality of the fact that so many people don't have that blessing, the ability to stay home and make their money from home, the ability to provide for their family from home. So many people don't have that blessing. Now you compound that reality with the complete abject. So now the lights came up real bright. Thanks, camera. I don't know what my camera is doing today. Now I'm glowing. Sorry about these sidebars. I'm just really particular. I don't want to look like my shirt like I'm in heaven or something. There we go. The sociopathy. I don't lose my spot. You combine that with the complete sociopathy of these politicians who are trying to force everyone back into public spaces because they're not going to admit it to you. But let me tell you the truth. They are employing a herd immunity strategy. And that's going to cost us close to 1 million lives. We're only at 200,000. And I say that not tongue in cheek, not to be coy, but we're only a fifth of the way there. It's an understatement to say that they don't care about us. But it has to just be said as plainly. They do not care about us. I'm going to call this damn camera company tomorrow. Everything is just acting funky tonight. Now it's getting darker. You know what? I'm going to leave it just like this. Up or down, bright or whatever. I'm not going to be distracted by that anymore. It's going to be extra warm room tonight. It's probably trying to adjust for this bright ass white shirt. They don't care about us. They see us as just another number. They see us as just cogs in their machine. They see us as the coal in their economic furnace. And they've shoveled 200,000 lives into that furnace. And here's the problem I have. This particular subject, COVID-19, and the way that they don't care about us, and the fact that I recognize the amount of privilege that I have. Listen, I understand clearly I am blessed and lucky, depending on what you believe or what you don't believe. I'm blessed and lucky to be able to stay home and thrive. My family has been thriving in this moment because I needed to get out of the streets and just stay my ass home. I'm aware of that, and in everything that I do, I'm fighting, yelling at the top of my lungs for us to provide this for everyone. But not only are they not providing people with the ability to stay home, they're insisting on opening back up and shoving you back into the furnace of their economy. And if it costs 1 million lives, it costs 1 million lives. In the grander scheme of things, at some point in the future, when we can look, hopefully all of us, hopefully everyone listening to me right now, you're safe, and we can collectively look back at this time. The absolute barbarity of our leaders is something that we're going to have to come to terms with. And the fact that we allow them to stay in power. Now, this is COVID-19 is precisely the area where I get pushed to the edges of revolution. I don't go over that edge because I got kids. Okay, let's just be real. I got kids, and I don't want to have to send them, send them down to Cuba to be safe from what's happening here in this country. But when I think about the reality of how sadistic and how barbaric our leaders are, and the fact that they will happily shovel 500,000 lives into the furnace of this economy, when every other civilized nation, see, America is uncivilized in this regard. Other nations not only have a better control and better grasp of COVID-19, but they are caring for their citizens. What this madness that we do in the United States of America, this is not normal. And I'm hoping that at some point in the future, when we can look back at this, we could come to terms with the fact that this country broke us. It broke us so much so that we allowed them to kill 200,000 of us. And we allowed them to stay in power. I don't care what kind of oxymoron. I don't care what type of cognitive dissonance. Me sitting here in a pretty decent looking, like if I showed you the floor, if I showed you the reality, you'd be like, okay, it's not that posh, right? But the framing of it looks really comfortable. And it's the fact that I am comfortable enough that I can sit home and make money and thrive, and I can sit home and exercise and lose weight, and I'm blessed. It is kind of a cognitive dissonance that a person like me is sipping on. Now, normally I have a coffee, but I got wine tonight because I'm a little sleepy and I want to go to sleep after this. There's an irony of me being as privileged as I am, as apparently well off as I am. Don't let the looks fool you. But there's an irony in me talking like this, even though I'm in probably the best position out of anybody in terms of COVID-19. Because I have literally not only thrived in my health, but I've thrived in my finances. I've got couple of viral videos. Y'all keep clicking on my joints, please. Whenever they come up, please click on them. Just watch them. Even if you just turn down the volume, just play them. Let those commercials play. I know there's an irony in a person like me even uttering the words of revolution. But the reason that is constantly in the back of my mind is because I cannot enjoy what I have, knowing that there are people outside of my doorsteps that are dying because they are essential workers and they can't stay at home. They have to go and stock the groceries. And our country is so barbaric that not only are we not doing anything to help them, but we're actually creating the conditions to make it worse. So I'm sorry if this is all like a champagne socialist, this is all a little bit too posh and bourgeoisie, and I look like I'm a part of the petite bourgeoisie. Like, I'm sorry if all of that is creating a cognitive dissonance. But I've been poor long enough, and I've got enough humanity in me, regardless of most of my life being poor, to understand that what is happening in this country is a goddamn shame. And while we may not have the mindset now to make these politicians pay for killing our brothers and our sisters, at some point, there has to be a reckoning with ourselves first, because we can't have a reckoning with the system unless we have a reckoning with ourselves, and hold ourselves accountable to the fact that we allow them to kill 205,000 people and they remained in power. And I understand why they remain in power, because the alternative is a confrontation that we, quite frankly, probably won't win. And it's a confrontation that destabilizes things even more. And for the most part, all of us want a level of stability and peace. And the only thing that I ask myself, and I'm not asking you, I'm not questioning you, I question myself every day: how expensive is this peace? How expensive is this peace? How expensive is it for me to be able to be in the backyard with my kids every day, playing tag? Y'all ran around the yard like a big ass kid playing tag. I was excited because I could run. Like 6 months ago, I couldn't run. Now I could run. That's how blessed I've been in COVID-19. I'm outside like a big ass kid playing tag, and I'm looking forward to doing it tomorrow. But how expensive is that piece? So far, it's been 205,000 lives. Because there should not be a single politician in this country, I don't care what party they are part of, that should feel comfortable when so many people have died, because our system refused to do what other nations did, what civilized, what non-shithole countries did. And in this case, we are the uncivilized, we are the shithole countries, and we are burning through lives. I'm sorry, all that from that person who mentioned, from the individual, from Kimberly, who mentioned COVID-19. There was another super chat that I missed. And actually, let me go. I want to be more responsive to Twitch because I better. Twitch will let you know when you did something wrong. We had a raid last night. RZNWA. They raided our Twitch channel last night, and I didn't find out about it until the stream was over. They brought 300 people from their stream over to our stream. So salute to everybody who came over from that stream. If you're on Twitch, be sure to go over there and show them some love. Tell them that I sent you, and I'm grateful that they came to hang out with us. So I definitely got to pay attention to what's going on at Twitch. Redeemed, the Velvet Gentleman on Twitch says, do you think we will see a socialist in the White House in our lifetime? I don't know. Here's the thing, though. I had a conversation with Anand. I cannot pronounce it. I can pronounce his last name, Girdadas. He's an author, Anand Girdadas. And he's an author. He's a contributor with the New York Times. I'll be posting that in tomorrow's podcast. He's a contributor on MSNBC. He's the dude with the really fly hair. You know, it's like gray hair, but it's in waves and the point, you know. Of course, being bald, I take notice of really cool hair. I had a conversation with him today. And the conversation with him was so meaningful because we talked about, like, here's how we win. This is what he said, and I agree. I don't care what you call me. You could call me a socialist, you could call me a communist, you can call me a neoliberal. You won't call me a fascist. That's the only thing you can't do is call me a fascist. But I don't care, like, the particular identification. Here's how we win. What we're fighting for is fundamentally good and just and right. There's not a reasonable person who is a person of good faith and good conscience who would look at you and disagree with the following statements. We have more homes that are vacant than we have homeless people in this country. And we create enough wealth to not have to seize those properties, but to compensate those owners for those properties and to make sure every person in this country has a place to stay. If we have enough wealth to do that and all of us create that wealth, why do we not do it? Now, that's a little cumbersome. Well, I'll find a better way to say it. But the bottom line is we make enough money in this country to make sure that every single person has a place to live, period. If that makes me a socialist, I don't care. What's important is that that's the right thing. That is the right thing to do. And us not doing it is an indictment of our character as a country. So whether or not we'll see a socialist in the White House in our lifetime, I think that's a little bit immaterial, so much as we get somebody in the White House who has that level of conviction about our responsibility to each other because of what all of us collectively create. Jeff Bezos is a billionaire because of you. Every little thing that you order off of Amazon makes him a billionaire. Walmart, the Walton family, they are billionaires because of you. There is no wealth that is generated in this society that is not contributed to by every single one of us. So since we all collectively create this, then we should all collectively benefit from it. And it's the right thing to do. If we create enough wealth to make sure that nobody goes to bed hungry in this country, why on God's green earth would we not do it? So we convince them with the righteousness of our cause. And if that makes me a communist, if that makes me a socialist, I don't care. You know, last I checked, I was a Christian. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I appreciate you, Joey. I appreciate you guys just letting me do this. Like 745 people hanging out with me. I really I really enjoy you guys just letting me do this. Like for greater or lesser extent. Well, that's scary. Somebody said they lost my stream. Is everybody here? Yeah. Yeah, Maze. We convinced them with the righteousness of our cause. We convinced them with the righteousness of our cause. If you saw somebody on the street and you could help them change their life with your pocket change, an amount so small that you wouldn't even notice, but you have the ability to fundamentally change their life, do you not then have a responsibility to do that? Michael Bloomberg damn near purchased our democracy with his pocket change. He took $1 billion out of his pocket and almost bought this entire democracy. I stopped him with 6 tweets. I didn't say that to humble brag or just outright brag. I said that to say if this man could buy democracy with his pocket change, does he and do we not have the responsibility to make sure that everybody has a doctor? Because it won't take collectively all of our treasure to do that. They could still be billionaires. Now, if you really push me into a corner and you make me choose between the existence of billionaires and us doing the right thing, then that's a whole different conversation. We can have that conversation. And then you rightfully could call me a communist. Fine. But what I'm trying to tell you is that our greed is going to destroy us. Our greed is going to inevitably destroy us. And we have created a system that rewards greed. Let me get these things out of my ear. I don't even have any audio going back into it. We have created a system that rewards us based on the very worst of human nature. It's like this, yeah. Like the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. And we created a system based on the love of money. And evangelicals look at me and call me heretical because I'm a Christian who does not fall into line with the love of money. In fact, I'm the exact opposite. It's like they think the Bible says the hate of money is the root of all evil. That's how evangelicals behave. Like if you have a disdain for greed, then you are the root of all evil. If you really look at it, they think like people who are close to being socialists or communists or whatever, they think that we are the root of all evil. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. And here we are creating a system that is built on the love of money. So why do you think it's just even if you don't believe in God, it only makes sense that if you build a system based on greed, you will have endless wars. You're going to have homeless people when you don't have to. You're going to have a system where politicians shovel the lives of 205,000 people into the furnace of an already teetering economy. Because we built a system built on the love of money, which according to their Bible, the same Bible I read, but apparently they got a different version, is the root of all evil. Now, let me compartmentalize that because that really brings out a side of me. If I can't convince them about the brokenness of our entire system, forget about them because they don't want to be convinced. We can convince everybody else. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. We can convince everybody else that in a system where we make this wealth, this stream that I'm doing right now is generating wealth for YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. It's generating wealth. I'm putting money into the pockets of Mark Zuckerberg right now. You are too by watching this. And our collective activity is generating this wealth. But yet, anytime we try to do something collectively for the good of society, they all of a sudden are like, oh, not my money. You're right. It's not your money. It is ours. We helped create that. And we have created a system that benefits a small percentage of people at the expense of everybody else. But most assuredly, this system is so bastardized that now we are killing people. We're sending people back into bars and clubs and just so that we can continue to generate that. We could not pause. We could not pause this system for a week, for 2 weeks. God forbid we would have paused this system for a month where we could have got COVID-19 under control and saved hundreds of thousands of lives. That's how sadistic this system is. It is our money. I don't even know what this is, but it is a dope ass bottle. Scarlet Smack is what it's called. And again, I understand, man. I understand, like, people will watch this and be like, here's this bougie ass nigga. Got roses in the background. Drinking red wine on, got this high definition camera. I even got on cufflinks. Only reason I got on cufflinks because this is the only shirt that actually fit me. Y'all saw that thing I had on yesterday. That thing was hanging down here. So I had to put on a shirt that actually fit. Now, I ordered some clothes. So I got some clothes on the way. So I won't have to wear the cufflink shirt anymore. But I wasn't about to come on here again with my t-shirt hanging down to my navel. All right. But I know it's going to be a stretch for people who watch this and be like, this bougie, which I'm not, obviously, but this is what they'll say. Person's talking all of this socialism, because that's exactly what they're going to call it. If I'm lucky, they'll probably call it communism. And then they'll ask me, when will I give up my wealth? Well, notwithstanding the fact that, like, if Facebook and YouTube ever pays me, because I don't believe it till I see it, like I finally made some money last month. So if they ever pay me, do you think for a second that I'm gonna let, and again, it's not about me letting, I'm working with my siblings to make sure that they don't have to go back into the classrooms. And so it's not about me controlling them, it's their choice, but I'm doing my damnedest to make sure that they understand that they don't have to make that choice. So to answer the question is, like, if they ask me, like, would I put my money where my mouth is? I will. I don't have to I don't need. Listen, here's the deal. And I don't even want to put this in context of me, because screw me. Because like I said, I'm not the best character. I already told y'all a lot. I already probably told you too much, right? I used to be out partying. I still want to party. I'm not partying now because of COVID-19. And I'm getting comfortable. I'm being housebroken. My wife is doing a good job of domesticating me. So I'm doing better. So I want to take it out of context of me, because I'm not the best person. But I just want to put it in the context of a universal kind of thing. We have to actively reject greed. We must actively reject greed. It must be an exercise, just like I try to exercise every day now, because I want to be able to go to the beach one day with my chest out, right? It's an active everyday routine that you have to practice rejecting greed, because even those of us with the best of intentions can fall prey to it. It's very easy for me to go back to my way of thinking, like, oh, I'm getting this big check from YouTube because I had like 4 viral videos last month. And I'm like, holy, wow, this is great. Part of my mind instantly went to the fact that as soon as this is over, I'm going to rent out a yacht. I'm going to make sure we got models here. I'm going to make sure we got models there. I'm going to make sure we got bottles. We're going to be popping. I'm going to be toasting to the good life. Part of my mind went there. then then the other part of my consciousness said, wait a minute. Why would I make money, hoard that money for some type of gluttonous party when I know people in my immediate family that may be forced back into classrooms to teach? Now, again, it's not my choice. It's my sister's choice. It's my brother's choice. They have to make that decision. But if I allowed myself to stay in the mindset of pack all this money in, buy my wife a house, if this keeps happening every month after month and I can keep hitting some viral videos, y'all keep watching my videos. Click on the notification bell. Try to get a brother out of the hood, who grew up poor. Try to get him to be able to buy a home one day. So turn on the notification bells. Go to YouTube right now and click on the notification bells and just watch the videos, right? We can at least take that money from the man and put it into the hands of a socialist. But I digress. If I have that mentality and I give into it, then no matter how good my intentions are, I become culpable and a part of the same system that is broken. It doesn't mean I have to give everything away. It means that at some point, again, it doesn't mean I have to give everything away, but it doesn't mean at some point I have to find a way to be satisfied with what I have. Because greed is never satisfied. There's a scripture and I can't think of it. It's about like hell is never consumed. Hell is never full. Greed. Somebody in the audience knows it. Put it in the chat. But greed is never satisfied. And so we have to actively, no matter how good my intentions are, my mind went there to hoard it, to save it, to buy a car, to rent out a yacht, to pop some bottles, all the trappings of Instagram. So I said that to say this: we have to actively reject greed. Because if we don't actively reject greed, we will be replicating the same broken system that allows homelessness to exist when it doesn't have to. We would be replicating the same broken system that has just thrown 205,000 lives onto the furnace of this broken economy. I get it. It's a small microcosm. My decision to throw a yacht party with models or not is a micro decision of just me, but it's the individual decisions of 8 billion people on the face of this planet that collectively give way to a total system that is driven by the very worst in humanity. And I'm going to promise y'all, I ain't got it all right. So if you see me at the club after this is over, don't say nothing. Just be like, he's still piecing it together. Those are my aspirations. That's what I work towards. But I know it's true. Even if I'm not ready to absolutely live up to it, I know it's true. You know I'm true. You know it's right. We know it's right. All right, enough of that. Let me get some of your comments. At some point, you realize stuff isn't important. Really, really it is. Gene Porter said it's Proverbs 27:20. Let me look that up really quick. Proverbs 27 and 20. And you guys know, I think by now, there it is. Death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are the human eyes. Neither are the human eyes. Yo, we are not ever satisfied. I'm telling too much of my business. Where was I? I transferred from Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach, Florida, down to Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton. Shout out to anybody from those cities. And going from a regular college like Bethune-Cookman, where everyone lives on campus, to a transit, what's the word? Not a transient. a commuter college, basically where nobody lives on campus, a small percentage, but everybody came to school every day, all day. And honestly, like the sisters, the women were just like, boom, like on campus, people would come they roll out of bed, barely brush their teeth. They got a hat on and they just come. But no, when you are traveling back and forth to school, it is, you put on your best foot. And my first year down there, it was just beauty after beauty, beauty after beauty, like just gorgeous, looking like they're going to the club, looking just amazing all day long, just surrounded by nothing but beautiful women nonstop. Hell, even the guys were beautiful. I'm like, look at these dudes. Everybody's dressed in all the best that they could possibly have. Everybody had a six pack. Everything. It was just gorgeous, beautiful women all day long. And after a while, I remember the distinct feeling of this. I am fatigued at looking at all of this beauty. At some point, you have to be able to sit in the midst of all that beauty and just be like, cool, it exists, but I don't have to chase it. I don't have to have it. I don't have to go after, because I wasn't catching every one of them, obviously, right? You know what I mean? But, we made the effort. But you get tired. At some point, it's got to be, and I remember it distinctly as it happened yesterday. You just have to make up your mind that what you have is enough, because if you don't consciously make up your mind, you will always be chasing after more. And this is how they perpetuate this system on us. I don't tell you these stories just to kind of be self-aggrandizing. I do a little bit, but it's just part of the routine. But I really tell you to make a bigger point. And here's the bigger point. The way they keep us in this system is because they keep us wanting what they have. They keep us wanting to have those photos on the yacht for Instagram, right? They keep us wanting more. That's the trap. That's how they get us. That's how you get a person who would benefit from breaking this system and putting it back together as something better. But you get a person who's in poverty, who should desire to destroy the system. That's how you get them to protect this system, because that person in poverty wants and desires to have all of that more. They want to protect this system because they want the trappings of this system. But if we ever get to the point where we collectively as a people can say, you know what? I think I have enough. We don't ask that of somebody who doesn't have a home. They don't have enough. We do not ask that of a person who doesn't have health care. They do not have enough. A person who doesn't have food. They do not have enough. A person who can't go and get an education. They do not have enough. We don't ask that. And this is the twisted, sadistic nature of our system. They always ask us to be satisfied with nothing, but they keep us desiring everything. Do you see the game and the gaslighting? They have been gaslighting us for so long. They tell us that we need to be satisfied and find a way to have peace. They give us religion. Right? I'm a religious person. I went to church. I used to, did my thing in church and everything else. But they give us religion for the purposes of satiating the masses. It's the opiate of the masses, right? And it's there to shift our direction from the material conditions that are not met in a society where we make enough wealth to ensure that it is met for everybody. And I hope I'm not moving too fast. I hope you got what I just said. They give us religion to make us pacified and satiated with not having enough. So everything that I'm saying is not relegated to the people who clearly do not have enough. They should never be told that they should be satisfied as a homeless person, as an unhoused person, as a person who can't get health care in a country where we generate enough wealth to make sure that everyone is covered. No. Those are not the people who need to be satisfied. The people who need to find a way to be satisfied and to actively reject greed are those enough who know we've got enough. We got enough. You know, I when I got rid of Michael Bloomberg, I was like, I promise you one day I'll stop talking about that. I will. I'm going to be 80 years old sitting at a bar. Let me tell you about that time I took down an entire billionaire with just 6 tweets. Let me tell you about it. When I got rid of Michael Bloomberg, I transitioned from not having enough, barely surviving, keeping my family together, hustling every way I could, to boom, damn it, I got enough. I'm good. I'm good. Everybody who can look around at their life and say, you know what? If I don't add another digit to my salary, I'm good. What happens though is that they get us in that position where we could say, hey, I'm good. And instead of us turning around and saying, how can we make everybody else good? What we have been conditioned to do is say, how do I get more? And in that way, every single one of us who could have made the decision to say, you know what, I'm good. But instead, we were trained and conditioned to say, I gotta have more. In that way, we have played our individual part in sustaining a system that is built on the backs of millions, no, billions of people that we step on so that we could have more, when there could have been a point where we could look around and say, you know what? I'm good. Girl, get off the ground. Get up and go. You ain't even got no real, you got your pajamas on. Get out of here for everybody see you in your pajamas. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Hermeneutic. Okay, I can't pronounce that last word. I do know hermeneutic though, from church. It wasn't called religion until a Roman death cult named it as such. Religions in the 13th century BCE. Let me put it back on, not BCE, but CE. And opposite of religion being negligence. Put that back on the screen. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Me, myself, and I. That's how this system thrives. When the reality is, folks, like, honestly, this is the bougiest y'all gonna ever see me, because honestly, like, the only reason I ain't got no Hennessy here right now is because, like I said, the liquor store down the road, the owner don't wear a mask, and you know I ain't playing that. So, you know, we got this through the mail. So this will be the bougiest night we ever have. And it's funny, like the most pretentious and bougiest of nights is the one where I'm really talking the most revolutionary shit, right? Go to bed, don't listen to me say these words. But yeah, I've already said it all. Let me see what you guys got to say. You thought I had a ghost? Did you see, Lisa B, did you see it moving in the background? I thought I had a ghost? Or you thought when I spoke to it that it was a ghost? Here's a good question. Getting bougie with it, yep. It is toxic capitalism, but honestly, I'm gonna get jumped by my communist friends if I don't just tell you the honest truth. It's just capitalism. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just capitalism. Listen, Masha. She said, Ben thinks the liquor store down the street is the only way to get booze. I do live far enough away from things where nobody delivers, really does any delivering out here. And, you know, I don't know. I'm just not getting out of pocket too much. I'm not get out of pocket too much. Now, hang on. Let me see. My drive is starting to get full. I need to make sure. Oh, I got 3 gigs. That's plenty. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Elizabeth G says, Eastern philosophy is we, Western me, hence their COVID containment success, which is absolute. You know what? It was a friend of mine who just got his PhD. Shout out. I don't know if he's watching this. He just got his PhD from the same program we started in. I ran out of money. I couldn't finish because I ran out of money. But he finished this weekend. And I never will forget the international study program we did down in Costa Rica. And on that trip, he was fixated. He was fixated by the idea of individualism versus collectivism, and how in America, he's from Haiti, but in America, the individualism reigns supreme. And from his culture, it was more of the we, collectivism. We didn't really argue about that. We argued about a whole bunch of other stuff because, you know, we were down there for 2 weeks with a whole group of us. So we all got really close enough to argue and go through like 3 bottles of wine a night. But it stood out to me, and it still stands out to me because of how crystal clear he was able to see it. But I wasn't able to see it as clearly back then. Now we're talking about 8 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, between 5 and 8 years ago. And I wasn't able to accept the fact that we as Americans have been breeded to be individualists. Now it's clear as day now, and I'm sure it's clear to all of you, but until you grapple with that notion, it's kind of offensive to think that your society has been designed around an idea that is inherently fallible and leads to so much destruction and devastation as individualism. And yet we've wrapped it in this veneer of nobility. We act like in America, the most noble thing that you could do is to take care of yourself. Now, I couldn't accept that 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But it's clear as day now that we have been groomed in this country to believe that the most noble thing that we could do is to take care of ourselves. To the point where we make really ridiculous decisions. Now, how can I tell you this story without telling on my family? Hang on. Carrie said, do you talk to your kids about this stuff? Why don't you want them to hear? Oh, because I was cussing a little bit. I don't want them to hear me cussing. I talk about this stuff to them in a very practical way that they can understand almost every day. And I'm going to get back to the individualism thing. What is heartbreaking to me, and the reason, like, they're 9, 7, and 2. The reason I talk about this to them every day is because they have been indoctrinated already. My 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and 2-year-old, yeah, even the 2-year-old, they have been indoctrinated already. They want this, they want that, they gotta have this, they need this. Oh, money, you got money. How much money we got? Da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I know you didn't get this from me. Where did you get it from? Disney, Roblox, whatever the game is called, Minecraft. All of these things that build up, that indoctrinate them to be consumers at the age of 9, 7, and 2. So to answer your question, I absolutely talk to them about this, but I don't talk to them about it with my adult language. That's the only thing. Jake said they got it from their own desire. I would say yes. I think the natural inclination is obviously there. Like, that's why I said you have to actively reject it. The reason you have to actively reject it is because it is there. It is in our nature, right? For sure. I agree with you 100%, Jake. The difference is that it is very specified and very refined. Extremely refined. It's like getting some pure uncut drugs. And it is so refined and precise that it's not natural from their desires. It is taking their desires and amplifying it with Disney capitalism. Take away the Disney capitalism, greed and desires would still be there, but it wouldn't be so precisely attuned to say, I want this and I want that. How much money do we have? I want to get this. I want a bigger house. I want this. You know, it's a very specific set of things that they want because they have seen it versus what is in us naturally to desire. In my opinion. Yes, the desire is cultivated. We got about 800 people. How long we've gone? See, we got 55 minutes in. We got a little while to go. How much of it is nurture, though? And listen, in terms of, I know you're talking about nature versus nurture, but on my nurturing side is me as a father trying to nurture them. I don't know if I'm winning. I don't know if I'm winning. But here's the other side of it. Just like Jake said, and he's absolutely right, there is the greed inside of all of us. My son saw homeless people for the first time, and he instantly tried to figure out, how do we fix this? And his heart was breaking at the idea that there are people who have to sleep on the street. So while we naturally have an inclination towards greed and desire and selfishness, the yin to that yang or the yang to that yin, the opposite side, that secondary consciousness that is there too, is concern and compassion rather. And what we have been designed to do in this society, I'm about to dovetail it. I love it when a plan comes together. What we have been indoctrinated to do in this society is to cultivate the individualism, to take care of ourselves first. That's what we've been indoctrinated with versus indoctrination of collectivism, of how we can make a better society for everyone, because that natural inclination is in us too. We have just been groomed and taught how to just absolutely push all of the time to be individualists, to focus on our own individual need and ultimately our own individual greed. And I'm just out here talking this. I'm just talking BS. Like, guys, I don't know if anything I'm saying is accurate. I'm just talking off the top of my heart. Thank you, Eileen. Individualists, yep. I'm just reading all you all's questions and putting up those that I think can help stimulate the conversation. We have a serious issue with instant gratification. You damn right about that. That's why the American dream must be redefined. The American dream has to be redefined. We'll talk about that more in a second. Let me see if I got any messages that I missed from, and to see if we got any raid. I want to make sure we didn't get. Here's a question from Twitch. Consumerism is the new religion. Capitalism is the new God, without a shadow of a doubt. And that is from the Suku One. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Here's some YouTube. Oh, wait a minute. Peace is a verb. Thank you for that super chat. I almost missed it. Thank you to the producer for putting it in here. I don't want to miss that one. It's a pretty big one. Mad love for Dixon and his awesome family from Portland, Oregon. Love the Patrons Party. Let's do it again soon with more conversation too. Happy to support your work with this one-timer and increase in my monthly support. Listen, thank you so much. That is awesome of you. That is really awesome and considerate of you. Michael G. He said, yes, he's still up, West Coast time. Thanks for the live stream and quality content. It's my pleasure. Peace is a verb, matches donation. Thank you so much. Wow, I missed all of these super chats. Forgive me. Have I found Robert P. Jones? No. Kimberly McNaught on YouTube said, have I found Robert P. Jones yet? He's his history of white supremacy in the Southern Church. I haven't found him yet, but one of my other producers is working on it. He was listening to that conversation last night, and he's already moved on it. Peace is a verb is out here showing love. Thank you for another super chat. Charles Cheney, thank you for that super chat. Alex Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Peace is a verb is out here matching everybody's donations. Like, bruh, or sis, or non-gender conforming friend. Thank you. Joanne Apple, hi, and thank you for these night chats. It is honestly, I'm gonna be honest, 100% my pleasure. You guys just don't know, like, to be able to talk and people want to hear what I got to say is a blessing. Robin Dixon on YouTube said, can he borrow? He gave me a $5 super chat and wants to know if he can borrow 10. I will cash app you in the morning, Robin. That's my brother. Michael Karash, sorry. The family, secret religious cult in Washington, has captured capitalism and made it a religion. I actually interviewed the author of the book and the documentary, The Family. It is one of the podcasts. Just look it up. I have the podcast on iTunes as well as YouTube. It was a great conversation and it was a great documentary. I recommend it to everybody. Peace is a verb is out here matching donations again. Like, wow. That is dope. Cynthia, Angry Panda said, I'm your therapy. Listen, thank you guys. Let's just keep doing this, because the number one thing I know that we're going to have to do, whether we win or lose in November, is that we're going to have to organize more, and we're going to have to leverage power more. You congregating with me at this time of night, what is it, almost midnight, 746 people, we're going to have to leverage it. We're going to have to leverage it to 5,000. And the reason is not for my self-aggrandizement, but it's so that we can get the message out to as many people as possible. And the more, how do you think conservatism has been winning? How do you think conservatism has been winning? Rush Limbaugh is not Rush Limbaugh just because he's Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is Rush Limbaugh because he provides a critical service for the right wing in this country. Ben Shapiro, same thing. All of these people who are paid millions of dollars to promote this and promote conservative values and to promote capitalism and to undermine any type of collectivism. The reason conservatism is on the ascent and is winning, so to speak, is because they have organized in every single channel, politically, think tanks, anti-labor unions, the American Legislative Exchange Commission, ALEC. I mean, in every way imaginable, they have organized in media. So when I say leverage this, I mean, I'm hoping that something that I say will inspire you to go and organize and do something. If this is just a kind of a quasi congregation where we come, meet up, and get energized, cool. So long as you go out and do. So we have 10,000 people watching us. The purpose of it is not to entertain you. The purpose of it is to galvanize all of this energy and for everyone to go out and organize in whatever category you fit best in. Lots of money devoted to that effort. The conservative effort, I think that's what you're talking about. Absolutely. And what's cool about this is that we have created channels in independent media, progressive media, that have become independently successful and have the ability to have staying power without the need for billionaires to give us money. It's taken a lot longer. It's been a harder road. You know, everybody like, I'm super happy for my friend David Pakman. Got 1 million subscribers. That boy doing numbers in terms of like views and stuff. I don't know his finances, but I know he's developed something that's sustainable, long reaching, and he has impact. My friend Sam Cedar, he's behind the 8 ball, but he's about to cross that 1 million mark. It's a joke. It's a joke between Sam and David Pakman, but he developed that from scratch, and they're able to have staying power, and they've developed it independent of any type of billionaire investor. This show, now I'm not even at 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Cross-pollinate. Go follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube. But, you know, my patrons sustain me, and we have, even though I don't have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, like my videos do numbers. You know, I got the golden touch. Like, I'm able to make videos go viral on YouTube and Facebook. All of that to say, we don't have the billionaires on our side, obviously, because we're talking about taxing them. But what we do have is the conviction of the people. And there's more of us than there are of them. And so if it takes only one billionaire to create Ben Shapiro because they poured $1 billion into his company, fine. It's going to take 100,000 supporters of mine to put me in the same position. But you know what happens in the long run? When that billionaire gets tired of investing, Ben Shapiro goes the way of the dinosaur. All I have to do is keep speaking truth to power. And some are going to come, some are going to go, some are going to stay, some are going to leave. But ultimately, as long as I keep doing the right thing, my business is now sustainable, and I can continue doing this separate of any money being invested in me from billionaires. Especially when you got people like Peace is a Verb still matching. What is going on here? Sorry, this is funny. Saxy Seymour said, we have the ideas. Ben Shapiro intellectually peaked at 18. It's really laughable. It's really laughable. I remember one of my brother, Robin, who I didn't put his, I read his comment, but I didn't put it on the screen. One thing he said a couple years ago, he was like, Ben, I'm afraid that you might end up being one of those guys that's like super, super smart, but it's super, super unsuccessful. Because that's kind of the nature of the left. Like, we have some of the most brilliant minds on the face of the planet who engage in this collectivism kind of spirit. But we struggle financially. We struggle to get some traction. And for 5 years, I would say he was right. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knew what happened at the 5th year. I'm not even going to say it again. This is from Rain. I hope I don't pronounce it wrong. We appreciate the open dialogue. The fact that you don't mind devoting 30 minutes, often longer, helping us come together. Totally enjoying you up. I'm enjoying you up too. Keep speaking the truth and informing us. It's my pleasure, man. Randy Greer talking about Ben Shapiro said he peaked at 10. Nefti Barikwa, yeah, I do know Richard Wolff's work, and I just haven't had him on my show. So I think it is time. I think it's time for me to go ahead and get him on the show. No waiting to fade. Success doesn't mean rich. Success means the ability to see. I'm glad you said that. See, now you're gonna make me go on a whole nother. How much time we got left? Let me explain to you. It's not about being rich. Who cares about being rich? I honestly could have been rich if I had stayed at the company that I went public with that went public, and I went with them. I didn't do anything. I was just in the marketing department, and it was corporate America, and we went public, and I had some investments in it. And if I had just stayed there and continued to grow my options, I could have gotten rich that way. It's not about being rich. And the other reason it's not about being rich is because of what I've been saying the whole time. It is having the attitude of actively rejecting greed. Now, mind you, there's a difference between actively rejecting greed and making sure you have enough resources to accomplish your mission. Success to me is having enough resources to accomplish the damn mission. The notion that we have to be in poverty to hold true to our beliefs is propaganda. I can no more accomplish my goals if I'm living in poverty than I could do anything else when you're living in poverty. And the system knows that. And so that's why they try to play these games of, you want to be rich. If you really were a socialist, if you really were concerned about people, you'd give away all your possessions. There's a difference between rejecting greed and having enough resources to accomplish your mission. Always make sure you got enough resources to accomplish your mission. And then reject greed. Oh, it happens at the same time, to be quite honest with you. It's not if and then. It's really both at the same time. Look at what you need to... Here's my mission. To create media channels, verticals, that reach down into American society and provides content that changes the mindset of the American people from individualists to collectivists. Now, just put that on record so that in 20 years, you want to say he's been planning this his whole life. That's what I want to do. I can't do that when my lights were off. I couldn't do that if I don't have some money coming in through these viral videos and through patrons and through super chats. I need the revenue to accomplish the mission to do the greater good. But what I don't need is a trip to Paris or the trip to the Mediterranean on a yacht with 20 models. I don't need the fastest car. I don't need an obscenely big house. But what I do need is for you all to watch these damn videos. Every time one of these videos come out, download the podcast, listen to these commercials, and make sure that I have enough revenue coming in to develop these channels so that we can provide political content and every other type of content that is aimed at doing one thing: changing the minds of every person that listens. That's success to me. Thank you for being my muse. I'm going to be honest here. I don't know what Hyperion is. Tell me more. I can Google it, obviously. I like this. Having money is like having tools in your garage. If you don't do anything with them, I don't know about the last half of it. Because to me, it's like if you have money in the garage, if you have tools in the garage, you should do something with it. If you're talking about money, I think money has to be money. Money has a mission. It needs to do. Tomorrow's episode or next week or whatever, I'll talk about the fact that we honestly don't even need money for that. The whole concept of money is an illusion. It's an agreement. It's an agreement to work. It's an agreement for exchange. Right? But we've been so primed to focus on money when the reality of it is that money is just an illusion. It's no more real than my commitment to do this with you. Right? Besides the super chats, I don't get directly paid for doing this, yet I do it. and you participate. It is the collective participation in this that generates wealth well beyond the super chats, right? It generates value, not wealth, but value well beyond the super chats. And this is why I did the work before I ever made any money doing this. I did this for 5 years without ever making a dime. And I got to pay some taxes now because I made some damn money. I got to get that together soon. So y'all just keep watching videos, keep subscribing, because money has a purpose in this season. While we still recognize the fictitious nature of it, we recognize it. And the truth of the matter is that I believe people have enough wherewithal in them to do without money because it's in us to do. But that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day. Oh, Twitch subs. Okay, thank you for the heads up. Let's get to these Twitch subs. Thank you for telling me. Let me hang on, I lost track. Where am I? Okay, here we go. Subscribers. Hey, Twitch subscribers. Thank you for the notification. Death Toad 007, tier 1 from tonight's stream. Thank you, my friend. Aegis tier 1 from tonight's stream. Thank you, my friend. Bad Rongo, or is it Ronjo? I'm gonna go with Rongo. Thank you for subscribing on Twitch. CA70s, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Vodalas, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Anastasia Rose, I found it. Anastasia Rose, thank you for subscribing to Twitch, on Twitch. Trudy Maid, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. And we're getting more names in as we go. So if I didn't call your name yet, my producer is filling it out. I don't want to miss any of you, because if you see the value in what we're doing enough to like contribute and be a subscriber, I definitely want to recognize you. I have another comment here from Twitch. Benjamin, what about Anand was what about what Anand was talking about in the Patreon interview, going down to the level of school boards to teach socialist and community-centered values? Yes. And this is from the Suku. And then HD Wells, I'm going to read yours real quick, and then I'll answer the Suku. Oh, you just deleted it. Put it back, David. You just deleted the one. Basically, she's going to tell her niece and nephews about my stories. I appreciate it. To answer your question, when Joe Biden wins, God forbid he loses, this is what I need everyone to do, like what I am doing now. I believe that I'm doing my part, and I'm serious about that. I believe that I'm doing my part, and my part is to cultivate these media channels and inspire you to go out and do. Whether he wins or loses, we gotta do on behalf of progressive ideas what conservatives did on behalf of narcissistic, selfish, conceited, individualist ideas. Conservatives took 40 and 50 years planning local, state by state, county commission, city commission, dog catcher. There was no race too small and no race too big for conservatives to invest their energy, time, and money into capturing that seat. That's the political side. There was no program that a think tank would not try to insert itself into. There was no college, there was no organization that a conservative think tank did not actively try to infiltrate. There was no local radio station that was too small for a radio host, a conservative radio host, to try to get a job at and to spread conservative ideas. Thank you for bringing this up, because this is critical. Win, lose, or draw, we have got to organize on every single level with the same intensity, no, with more intensity than conservatives did. And we have to be in it for the long run. because it may not happen in our lifetime. We may have to pass the baton on to someone else for it to happen in the next lifetime, in their lifetime, the next generation. To that end, I feel like I'm doing my part. And I think part of my part is to encourage you to go out and do your part, whether it's labor organizing, whether it's mutual aid organizing, whether it's running for dog catcher. And I'm serious, like run for something so small that you don't stand a chance of losing, but run. And everybody shouldn't run. Some people need to just organize. And some people don't need to organize. Some of them need to be organized, but be there to be boots on the ground. Whatever your position is, whatever your role is, every single one of us, it's going to take us in our respective places to make this work, because we don't have billionaires dropping in $1 billion to make a media company work. It's going to take people like me who actually can run their mouth for hours on end and is just happy that he got people listening to him at 12:04 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It's going to take people like me doing this in media. It's going to take people like you doing it in the I could no more organize a labor union and work. I don't even know where to begin. That's not my skill set, but you do. So go do it. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. We had a gift subscription. If I'm understanding this right, I'm new, please forgive me, guys. I'm new to Twitch. I don't know all the language yet, but it looks like I got a gift subscription. 11 gift subscriptions from only one RIP. Dude, my friend, that is amazing. Thank you for 11 gift subscriptions to Twitch. That's salute. I appreciate that, really. Peace is a verb. Has given 4 super chats totaling $85 tonight. Thank you, my friend. Shelby Hall, we cannot quit. Once we get power, we can never let it go. We need to reach out to people everywhere. I saw an ad by strippers to get out the vote. It was great. We need to meet people where they are. Absolutely. Coca Curry 19 on YouTube. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Masha said, can you add calls to actions to your videos and tweets? Help us take action. Yeah, I think that's absolutely something I can and should do. Kimberly McNaught, again, another super chat for the common good. Thank you. Peace is a verb with all of these match donations. Wow. Thank you, my friend. Maybe I do have a billionaire supporter. No, I'm just joking. Okay, here's some more subs. Wow. And this is really small, David. You know my eyes. Hang on. LGF Super is gifting 5 one-tier subs to my community. Thank you so much for that. There you go. Thank you for making it larger. So there's 1, 2, 3, and so those subs are going to Post Saffron. Thank you. Zanzi. I can't pronounce that, but thank you. You know who you are. Terry Berry O, Mrs. X Jean, and Strong Like Bull 503. And CRD subscribed at tier 1. Thank you so much. Thunder Voice 1 subscribe with Prime. I can't believe I've been saying that. Listen, take some money. If you don't want to become... Twitch is run by Amazon. And as much as we all hate Jeff Bezos, you can take $5 away from Jeff Bezos by subscribing to me on Twitch via Prime. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't cost you any money. And it's like $5 a month, and it takes directly from what you already pay them in Prime. So instead of giving the whole $99 to them, give them $94 and $5 will come to me if you become a subscriber on Twitch via Prime. All right. How much time? Where are we at now? Hour 24. We got 6 minutes. Is there anything I haven't talked about that you guys want me to talk about? I got about 5 minutes. Yeah. Peace is an earth angel. Peace is a pizza. Pizza is is an earth angel. Fadi, if you're not a patron of the BPD show, what are you doing with your life? I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Thunder Voice said they just barely got here, so whatever's on my mind. Spill wine on my shirt. You know, it's not that kind of show. Sophia says her stripper friends hated that commercial, by the way. Funny story about that commercial. I cringed so hard when I saw that commercial. But a friend / colleague of mine actually participated in that commercial. Not the strippers, but with the script about explaining the importance of voting. All the information. You know, a friend of mine wrote that script. Sorry, Mimi, but you can catch the replay. The replay plays overnight. Peace is a pizza. You caught me slipping. Thank you. Aw. Somebody doesn't know what a definition of a Nazi is. It's okay, Asia. It's okay. You know, we're kind. We'll be kind as long as we can. My motto is, when you can be kind, be kind. And when someone doesn't know basic definitions, we first are kind. And we'll give you an opportunity to use Google and watch some documentaries so that you can clearly understand what a Nazi really is and who that Nazi is in this equation. But then once we realize that you're being disingenuous, then we're no longer kind. So. This is a huge topic, Tammy. What about the disabled been left behind as burdens to society? I want to put that on the screen and ask that you give me some time for some consideration to really put it in context of knowledge, right? I want to speak from a point of knowledge. I am concerned with the amount of disregard that our society has, America specifically has, towards the disabled community, especially around COVID-19, because of how susceptible so many people in the disabled community are to that virus, but the complete and utter disregard when people say stuff like, you know, well, I'm healthy. Well, yeah, I'm glad you're healthy, but how many people aren't healthy or able-bodied who are uniquely susceptible to this virus? And I know it's not categorical, but there's an overlap there that really bothers me every time I hear somebody talk like that. But outside of that, I actually give me some time to consider it and come back to you. TX2 Trill said out of nowhere one day he woke up and couldn't move his legs. Or their legs. I'm sorry. I'm making an assumption there. My bad. Luna Yana says they're on Social Security. It's rough. It shows how little our government values us. Less than $800 a month to live on. And then the terrible thing about it is that that's what they give you. And if you happen to make more than that somewhere else, they penalize you. That's the sociopathy of this system, of this government. Well, yeah, so Michael Bayless, or is that Mikhail Bayless? You know what? During the daytime on the podcast, it's straight politics, unless you're a patron. If you're a patron, then I do probably about 10 minutes of this kind of conversation. But the majority of the podcast is just raw politics. And I cover the Senate races. I definitely cover the presidential race. I cover congressional races. And, you know, I hit what's popping in that news cycle. I like this evening time to be different, though. Talk about more universal concepts. Because that's what I talk about when I'm not on air, be honest with you. Like this, this is me. This is the real me, not the wine. It's usually weed, but this is the real me. The political me is, it's the me that had to become necessary for the craziness that we see around us, right? It's a role that I feel like I had to fulfill because I had the capacity to fulfill, but it's not what I really want to do. I don't truly, genuinely desire like a revolutionary life. I feel like the stupidity of our politicians is constantly egging me on towards that. But if you ask me what I would like to, like who I really am and like to talk about on a regular basis, it's what we're doing right now. So I'm not a wine connoisseur at all. All I can tell you is it's red wine. And it is well, the back says Zinfandel, a California Zinfandel. So I told you I'm not bougie. Like this whole scene looks bougie. I'm more of a Cavassier, Hennessy kind of guy. And yes, I am definitely a Trekkie. I will answer this political question. How do I think the Harris-Pence debate will play out? I was in a minor debate with a colleague of mine before this show. There's a show I did before the show, before this stream. This isn't the show. This is just a stream. We're having a conversation. And here's my advice. If anybody knows the camp, and I know a couple people follow me who work in the camp. If Kamala is able to successfully stop Mike Pence from having an identity outside of Donald Trump. This is what I mean. Very simply put, Mike Pence is Donald Trump. And she needs to go into that campaign and that debate, no matter how civilized Mike Pence acts. Cool. You can be civilized, but you're still Donald Trump. You can be measured in your responses, but you're still Donald Trump. You could be dignified in your approach, but you're still Donald Trump. And if she's able to do that and pin his ass to the wall for being not only complicit with Donald Trump, but being Donald Trump, and then allow the American people to have a moment of catharsis by her beating up Donald Trump the way we wanted Joe Biden to, it's if and only if she's able to not let him weasel out of being his own individual. No, champ, you are Donald Trump. And you have to answer for everything Donald Trump did. If she can do that, she's going to wipe the floor with him. Because the reason I put it like that is because if she does not do that, what happens is that Mike Pence has a dignified enough presentation to make America think that there's a rational, reasonable person in the White House with Donald Trump. So that can come off as, you know, I'm the measured one, I'm the reasonable one, and I'm the one that you can honestly, you know, Donald Trump is Donald Trump, and that's what he does, but this is, no, champ, you are Donald Trump. Make him pay the price for being Donald Trump. No, I use Ecamm, E-C-A-M-M, great software. I'm not endorsed by them, and I didn't get paid for that commercial. But if you ask, I'll tell you the truth. Live long and prosper. All right, let me check. I'm going to call out the last couple of subs that I see for the night. And then I'm going to call it because the wine is doing its job, and I am actually going to get rest tonight. LGS Super. Subscribe with Prime. And okay, no, I called these out already. All right. Thank you. Let me go back over here. I got those super chats. Thank you to the moderators over there on Twitch, keeping the Nazis at bay. Hold the line, keep them out of there. Block them with the quickness. There should be no, and there will be no quarter for fascists, no quarter for anti-Semitism, no quarter for racism on any of the platforms. How's YouTube? Do you guys have enough moderators on YouTube and Facebook? Was it better tonight? Let me know. Marcy, absolutely right. Cool. Shout out to my producer, David. Everybody give David some love. He was the one to make sure that I was able to recognize everybody who needed to be recognized. If I missed anybody, it's also his fault, not mine. Appreciate you, David. Hey, good night, everybody. Let's do this again tomorrow night, and I'll see you next time. Get some rest. Love yourself and love somebody else.